Ah, finally, the moment I've all been waiting for, messing around on the third wave. The most expensive synth I have ever bought, paid full price for it, by the way. It was no joke, very painful to do, but I absolutely love it, not only because I paid a lot for it. There's no bias here. I just love this thing. It sounds incredible. I think I finally kind of cracked the code, which is why I wanted to show it to you and talk to you about it. For example, here's a little patch I made. Check this out. It's called Low Low. What is happening, right? Let's check out this other one here called Jabus. Right, tune this way down, hit that low, low. Listen to this. Do you hear that aliasing sizzle? That is the magic of this thing. Very similar to the Wave, right, or the PPG, which is this is kind of based on. A little bit of mix of those. It's the third wave, right? It has these beautiful 8-bit wavetables from the original PPG in here, and they sound insane. Really quick, for example, here's another patch I made called No Effects, because there's no effects, but listen to how it sounds. Like, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And lastly, before we dive really deep into why I absolutely love this thing, the delay pluck, which is a fun one because I'm using a random LFO to kind of move the delay time around just very subtly. We go here and really turn it up. Oh, my God. Okay, this thing's insanely expensive. It was very painful to buy. Again, paid full price for this thing. But there is some magic in this thing. It is easily one of my favorite synthesizers that I've ever used. And I want to show you just how quickly and easy it is to get to something beautiful. So, for example, I'm going to go and just hit initialize. By the way, Bob, thank you for having an initialize button. Bob Grover, the guy who made this, he's crazy about synthesis and audio and everything. He's one of the head dudes at, currently at least I should say, one of the head dudes at Apple doing the spatial audio and all this stuff. He's done a lot of envelope design for sequential, studied the waves and the PPGs and really tried to nail it on sound and really cares about this stuff. And this is a dream synthesizer of mine because we get the crazy digital wavetable stuff with analog filters and just a ton of modulation, multi-timbrality, and the ability to like have multiple outs. It's crazy. But here, we're here at this initialized patch, which I will admit is weird. By default, all 3 oscillators are on, set to half level, so I'll turn 2 and 3 down and turn 1 all the way up. And then the wave envelope, which is super secret sauce, is on. I'll turn that off, but we will touch that in a sec. And now we just have a single oscillator, oscillator 1, and that's it. We have our wavetables, right? P means PPG. You got the original 8-bit 33 of them. The original 8-bit wavetables. U are all the preset ones, U. And then you get the A's, which are virtual analog. What's fun is, for example, let's go 14, right? I can hit wave, I can take a look at the wavetable, I can choose its offset position. It'll smoothly change between all of this, or I can turn wavetable smoothing off. So it's a little harsher, right, when it's changing, but we'll leave that on for now. I mean, this is already by default super pretty, but what's cool is you can get this 8-bit sizzle if we go a little lower. Listen to this. You hear that right there. And I know this is extremely low. If we were to play this normally, you might not notice it as much, but it's in all of this that counts, right? It's in the nuance of our sounds that really allow us to create unique sounds. I'll turn the release up. And again, these amps are a little funky. For example, if I'm at like 70, it goes away a little too fast. Maybe let's try 80. Seems like it kind of hangs a little too long, right? What is cool though, I will say you can go into the original PPG envelope shape. Again, remember I told you, this guy was wild about figuring out envelopes, which is clearly completely different from the other amp envelope. That's actually kind of pretty. Try and attack all the way up. Extremely fast envelopes. You can hear that little pop there. Okay, we'll give ourselves a little bit of attack, mask the pop, and let's take a listen to the wave envelope. This is a 6-part envelope where you can control the independent time and position of all 6 positions, and this is going to the oscillator's wave offset, and you can choose which oscillators are on or off that are being affected by this envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our position down of all of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll go back to 1. Here's nothing. But if we take our position and move it up, right, it's starting really high and then falling down to 2 per key. Right? And this is kind of where the magic, I think, really comes alive, because if I were to turn this position really high and then we go to 2's time and make it pretty quick, 1's time, make it really fast so it's super sharp attack. Right? Pretty cool, but let's go and turn 3 back up, but not all the way. Jump, right? Let's give 2 a little bit more time. Or maybe we want it to fall really fast, but then we want the time of 3 to go up a little slower. Right? That's just beautiful to me. We'll turn our time of 1 a little bit up. We'll turn this down. We'll go over to 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to turn 4 up to about where 3 is and let it start to hang a little. 5, we'll let it fall down. And 6, we'll let it be all the way down. But we're going to adjust the timing of these here. And this will give us like this slow little gradual fall down. And let's say for 4, let's turn it up really high, make its position really fast. Let's see what this sounds like. 3's going. It's going to hit 4 real quick. There it is. Bloom, 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 bloom. And now it's falling back down to 5 and 6. And again, you can adjust this with the value. You go to miscellaneous and you're adjusting the entire envelope's depth to those amounts here. Choose new wavetable. Wave offset, turn it up a little. Turn our analog filter down. Resonance up, which by the way does have resonance compensation. Again, another thank you, because if you crank this up, usually if you turn this off, there goes all your bass. Right? But we'll turn that back on. Gives us our bass. Allows us to get kind of squelchy. Turn our envelope amount up. Sorry for the dog whistle. Again, turn delay up on our filter. Turn this up a little higher. Resonance down a little bit. Cutoff up, a little bit of saturation. Let's clip it a little. And another thing, shout out John Wayne on this one. I know he's a fan of this. We'll go and say source will be noise. We actually have noise as a source. Destination, we'll have it be our filter cutoff. By how much? A little bit. right? So this is none, a little bit. You hear that little lo-fi grit in there? This is completely different than just adding noise into the VCA. Oh man. We'll just do one. Get a little reverb on here. Right, we'll go here and let's do a flanger. Let's be reminded, we only have one part playing right now and one oscillator. You want to turn on a second part, it's as easy as pushing that button. We'll say pitch up, turn this up, turn these down of course. And let's say we want a little bit of an attack, but again, we want this to happen way after we've pressed the note. We'll turn the delay on the amp up. This means when I press the key, it's going to delay the cycle beginning of our amp envelope, right? There it is. It took long enough. Wait for it. It's all independent. Right? Or if we turn this way up, we'll go to miscellaneous. We'll turn our delay down and turn the volume of that down. Listen. This is the sickest thing I've ever heard. Right, and then the effects are separate for the second part. So if we were to do a BBD delay. Oh, sour on. Feedback. Turn that up to max. Let's see if it'll go forever. I don't even know. Does it not go forever? It was long enough, that's for sure. Oh, it does go on forever. It was chilling way back there. I must have had the mix down or something. Where I think this synth is extremely special is in that sizzle, that almost untangible, weird texture that it provides without even trying. This isn't a setting, this is just on. This is its natural state, is in this weird kind of old school, new school, beautiful sound, right? We'll turn off part 2 and just focus in on 1 again. Like, listen to that right there by itself, just, right? We'll turn these off. If I were to try and make this on something else, I feel like it would be so much more work. Oscillator 2. Then you got the WaveSurfer knob. It's cool. You know what? It's cool. What this allows you to do, as you can see, is just adjust the wave offset of all 3 oscillators at the same time as a bias of where they already are. You can see here it's just adding to whatever the wavetable is, right? It's not readjusting the wave offset. So if I were to hit reset here, these are all still where they are. This is just pushing all the wavetables at the same time in either direction, which I believe by default is what the mod matrix is doing, or the mod wheel. And if you want want to be really wild, check this out. We'll put on a new chord here, one of my favorites here. If I turn up stereo pan spreading, and we'll play that again. Boom. Really, really, really wide. Right, I'm just layering a ton of notes at this point. But you hear all this movement, right? That's because there's so many voices on this thing. There's 24 voices total. They're all split up and shared by the multi-part system here. So if you activate all 4, each part only gets 6 voices. If you have 2, it's 12. Or yeah, 2 is 12. Come on, bro. That's like the easiest math ever. And 1 is 24. And I mean, there's a ton of other weird things. One of the reasons why I find this to be one of my favorite synths, similar to Peak, right? Kind of close, but in a league of its own, is that you get this, this, by the way, is in the league of its own, as is Peak. Peak's pretty good, you know, I love that thing. But the third wave itself, you get that crazy digital core sound, that initial start of just unique weirdness, followed by analog circuitry, analog filter, right? You get 2 here, the state variable, which is, you know, has a couple different modes that are all sweeping through. For example, again, let's go and initialize something. We'll listen to this, turn this down, turn this down. Right, we'll turn this up. This goes into the low pass filter. I know you would expect it to be this way. I'm guessing this button was kind of maybe too much to match, right? So you can shade this up or turn it into a bandpass, because right now it's going to be in a notch, which is notching out sound. But if you go into bandpass, it's now flipping that notch. So it's just, the frequency is just in the middle now. Right, and I can find some resonance in here, notch it. Right, but then I can low pass this. Give it some saturation, let it clip a bit. Right, and then start bringing some movement in. Or again, just get out of this, go to low pass and turn it all the way up. Now it's like essentially not even there, and all we're listening to is just the low pass here. All right, go to your sustain, bring that down, bring this up. There's just something about this. It just has this texture to it that I absolutely love. It makes me hesitate letting go of the keys because I just want to hear this more and more. Right? Turn our release up a little bit. Turn our filter release really short. Right, you still have oscillator or envelopes 3 and 4 as well. So like source 3, destination, 1's wave shape, and then we'll turn that up. One thing I do wish is if I were to assign it using this, I can turn this amount and have it do something, but it actually doesn't. I have to always go back to the modulation matrix here, or I have to scroll and choose that destination, oscillator 1's wave. Wave, there it is. And now this amount will change that amount, so I can turn this off and choose oscillator 3's. Turn our filter up, of course. Now we have where we want this to essentially land, right? Oh, right, and this is doing its thing here, but we'll do that, a little bit of attack, a little bit of decay to let us fall there. Offset down. And it has a lot of the other things you would expect, like for example, if I were to hold down, let's say this chord here, then I hit unison, this is kind of like chord memory. I mean, come on. on. Come on. Listen to that. We'll say source, this, LFO1, destination, cutoff, wave shape. We'll do a reverse saw. Turn the rate up. By how much? Very, very little. One thing I will say, this is indented to fall in the middle, which is cool, but then you also just have these which are moving little increments, so you can really fine tune it. Rate, or not the rate, the wave shape. There it is, that's the reverse saw. I thought that was, sounded weird. And another thing too is that you have the sequencer here. So if we choose our tempo, let's just go down. Is there a tap tempo on here? There is possibly somewhere. I think I saw it in the manual, but we'll just set this down to like 100, sure. How many measures? We'll do 2 measures, quantize it to 16ths, and yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we'll say record, play. Right, that's now in there. This you can hear is kind of falling off. If we go to miscellaneous, we can say sync, and then now our rate, there it is on the 8th. Right, we'll go to our bounce back delay. And we'll say, ooh, rate really slow. Tone, depth up. Ooh, let me turn on this phaser actually. Turn our feedback up. You know me. A little bit of reverb. Listen. Most beautiful sound I've ever heard. Turn number 2 up. Actually, while that's playing, let's go to 2 here, right? And I can turn this up. You hear nothing's happening, right? Oh, actually, I think I found something that ain't gonna work for me. I think because on 1 I have this unison thing on. Right. This actually makes sense. Because I have unison on, it's taking priority over all of the voices to then not allow me to use number 2, right? So if I turn 2 off now, it does affect it. So again, we'll say, what is it, this chord here? Unison. If I go to 2 now, turn this up. There it is. Wow. Can't get enough. Cannot get enough. Anyway, I'm getting too carried away on this sound. If you enjoyed this video, I think this is another one you might enjoy. And yeah, third wave is here to stay. I finally felt comfortable enough to use it, mention it, talk about it a bit. It's super deep. There's so much more to cover. I just kind of wanted to scratch the surface with you. And yeah, it's always so good to see you. Until next time, my friend. Hope to see you again next week. You already know the drill. Share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.